Noon.
There's an NFL Network report that the news is pretty good on Jordan. Is that the case? And you feel like he's got a shot for Sunday?
I have no idea. I'm about to go talk to Flea and Nate right after here. So, but he seemed like in good spirits. So I don't know where that information comes from, quite frankly. And I'm surprised it's coming. I hope it's not coming from inside our building. But we'll see.
I'm going to guess it's not coming from inside your building, but I'm curious, what's your thought process if he's close, you've got the bye week, these injuries are the kind that can linger if you push it too fast? What's kind of your thought process as you start the week?
Yeah, if he can go, he'll go. So we'll see where he's at by the end of the week. And but if we feel like he can't protect himself, then we certainly wouldn't put him in that position.
What he was able to do, especially considering that it sure looked like the injury happened on the opening series.
It did. It happened on the first series on that third down. I just thought it was a pretty gutty performance. He was definitely hurting. His ability to move, to really drive the football. So I was, I thought it was just a tough, gritty performance.
So the interception, the not driving the football part, is that a factor in that one then?
No, I think the guy made a really good play on the ball. I mean, there's certainly some things that we could have done a little bit better in terms of, especially when people squat on routes. I mean, a lot of times I always put that on us as coaches too, in terms of can we give them a better play so that people won't do that. I thought Jones did a nice job sitting outside leverage and just driving the outcut, and that's a play we've ran quite a bit, and so I'm sure he was able to anticipate it, and that's how you make plays. And so credit to him, he made a good play. I just told Jordan, if you feel somebody driving it, make sure you put that ball where only our guy can catch it. But he did do a good job of undercutting that route.
The pass defense, I give 8 plays at 20 yards, something along those lines.
Yeah, that was a lot. Yeah, they're a very explosive team. There were some things that, from a technique standpoint, that we didn't do and we didn't execute. We had one blatant busted coverage, and then just there was some poor tackling too. I mean, they were hitting checkdowns into cover 2, which usually that's what you're enticing the offense to throw, and it's catch tackle, and they were going for 20-plus yards. So we got to tackle better, we got to communicate better, we got to execute better, just the techniques that we're asking our guys to do out there.
I was going to ask you about the tackling. You seem it's probably maybe the most you had all year. Is that because Jacksonville's really good and they got a big tough receiver and I got a big running back, or is it more on you guys? How do you view that?
I always put it on us. They do have some really good players on that team. I thought that was a pretty talented offense. When you look at the tight end, the 3 receivers, the back, Bigsby. So I think they have playmakers, but I think there's things that we can control when we're going to tackle these guys to get them on the ground.
Matt, sorry, Les, go ahead.
With Edgerrin, what have you thought of what he's brought to the defense, just in terms of the blitz? I mean, we all knew he could do that coming out of college, but just being able to add that element to this defense here, making those type of plays.
Yeah, that was a huge sequence in the game. You're talking about the forced fumble, and I thought Devontae Wyatt did a heck of a job, kind of like bodying out the offensive lineman to get that ball. Really, when you look at both takeaways, I mean, you could argue that might have been the difference in the game. 2 takeaways for 14 points, but Coop he made a lot of splash plays. I mean, I think the third down play where they tried to go to Kirk down the middle was a max pro look, and I mean, he's bluffing up in there like he's going to blitz, and then he has to get out. I mean, not many guys, whether it's a linebacker or safety, there's not too many people that can make that play, and he made a heck of a play on it. So, and certainly there's some things that he's got to get better at. So he's a young player. We see the splash plays. They're all over the place. He's dynamic, he's super athletic, and I think he's getting better and better each and every week.
Matt, is that, you guys did that on offense last year, a ton of rookies playing. You dealt with the growing pains, and then you reap the benefits in the second half of the season. Is it the same thought process with him, that he's still going to make some of the mistakes he's making, but the upside and the growth is just so worth it?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. I think, you have to allow some of that it's going to happen. It's the nature of it. You never want it to happen, but a lot of times, I've said it before, you learn more from your mistakes and you do your times you're successful. So we're going to keep pushing him to get better. I think it seems to me that he's developing a better routine. And I think that's for a lot of young players, a lot of rookies coming into this league, it's just for them to go out there and perform to the best of their ability, you have to get into a certain routine. And then once you get through a year or whatever, and you're constantly refining that routine until you get it perfect. But I think Coop's done a better job in that regard.
Hey Matt, you told us a month ago that we couldn't even fathom what Malik did in those 2 starts. Is he even more?
Well, he probably could have, but
unfathomable to see what he did after not having reps with the ones, just going in there and playing really well?
yeah, I think that's life of the backup quarterback in this league is you get all your reps through the scout team, and I just think I'm so impressed by his ability to go in there mid-game, and it's just the moment's not too big for him, and I don't think that's the case for everybody. It seems like his heartbeat it just stays pretty consistent, and I mean there were some big time plays he made in that game, obviously, and I also think the belief that the team has in him and his ability to lead us. I think it's pretty evident when you watch us play. That was a huge play to Jaden Reed at the end of the game. Usually those are the ones that when a guy is that open that you tend to baby out there, and he threw a dime. He hit Jaden right in stride, and obviously that was a critical play in the game.
How important do you think those 2 starts were for him, just to not just get the play under his belt, but with the team? And
Yeah, I think confidence is, no matter whether it's in football or in life, I mean, when you have confidence, you're going to go out there and perform better. And I think that was critical just for him to come in and have some success. I think he's gained more and more confidence. I think we see it out in the practice field, quite frankly, going against our defense on a daily basis. So really happy with the progress that he's made, and we've got a lot of confidence in him.
The confidence, I know you kind of talked about it after the game, but to call me, if that ball's incomplete, there's like a minute 10 left, it's 3rd down. If they stop it next down, they got plenty of time to go win the game. So
I have to channel my best Herm Edwards. You play to win the game. So.
I mean, seriously, is that it though? I mean, you just.
I don't want to be a meme out there. So yeah, I just think it was one of those deals where. Worst case scenario, the way I looked at it in terms of we were going to be smart trying to manage the clock, and just like the first play, we run the ball. I think we get 4 yards or whatever. So I was comfortable with potentially having to run the ball again before we kind of got into our 2-minute mode. I mean, obviously you got to get that first down, but with the fact that they had, I think, 2 timeouts left, I mean, I think we had 2 timeouts if I'm not mistaken as well. I wasn't really concerned about the time element as much. I was concerned in the fact that I didn't want to give them the ball back with too much time, but I just felt like that was a calculated shot. If we got the look, we were pretty confident that it would be open, and if we didn't get the look, then I felt like it was going to be something that, we're either handing the ball off, or I think we're playing to Malik's strengths in the fact that, we ran a keeper earlier in the game, and he got an explosive run on it. So, his ability to move, and now you can always count on him picking up yardage with his legs. He does a great job. He's super athletic and explosive. And so I just felt like it was kind of playing to his strengths.
As proud of you, of Pete as you were yesterday, you gave him a pretty short answer when he asked you about Malik at the end, and you said impressive is the word. I'm wondering if you can help me fathom how a guy who things went the way they did for him in Tennessee, how does it work as well as it's worked here? How much of it is, what forces are at work there? It's him. I know you don't like to take credit, but you put together some pretty good game plans for him. The offensive staff, Tom, can you kind of help me fathom all the reasons why?
I think there's always a lot of variables that are a reason why somebody goes out there and has success. And I think we have some pretty good people around them. I think that's always important, is you better have some playmakers around you. I think the line's done a nice job. But ultimately, he's been able to go out there and execute. And he's the one making the throws. If you get somebody open, you still got to make the throw and make the play. And I think that he's demonstrated that. And I think just from watching him and the progression he's made in practice, I think his footwork is gotten much better. And that's a credit to the work that he's putting in. But also, I think, Tom and Connor and Sean do a great job with him and putting in extra time post-practice when he's not getting all those reps. And that's important time for the development of any player. So, but ultimately, he's got to be willing, accepting of the coaching, and then go out there and put the work in, and he's done that.
Matt, what's your level of concern with Evan Williams and Jair Alexander's injuries?
Well, I'll have a better idea after today.
How does not having them potentially this week affect your guys' game plan now against Detroit?
It definitely affects things. I mean, you're talking about two of our starters, guys that have played really good football for us. So I think when Evan went out, I mean, that set off a chain reaction in the back end. Jaws didn't happen until right at the end of the game, and but it's the mentality of next man up. So we feel confident in that room. We've got a lot of players in that room that have played good ball for us, and they're going to have to go out there and do it against arguably the best team in the NFL.
Matt, what is your initial reaction that the Lions have scored like 40 plus points like for a month now? I mean, just what are your initial thoughts on what you're going to face?
Yeah, they're really, really good, and we knew that. I mean, we knew that going into the year, and it's not shocking to me. It's a team we're obviously very familiar with, and we're going to have to play at our best. So, and it all starts with the preparation. We're going to have a great week of practice.
With Chris Brooks and pass protection, is that a part of his game when he first got here? You guys knew yours were fine in, or is that part of the learning as he got more involved in the offense?
I think we were pretty confident in it, but ultimately, again, he's got to demonstrate that in order for us to have confidence to him to go out there and do it. And I mean, he's been doing that pretty well. I mean, he's stoning backers as they try to run through the line of scrimmage, and that's been a huge get for us.
You talked last week about the simulated pressures of the replacement fire zones, and that's great that you guys have that in your arsenal, but how much more do you need just from having your front four get home a little more frequently? Do you feel like maybe that's an area where your defense needs to pick it up a little bit?
I think you could argue some situations, absolutely. I mean, obviously, in a perfect world, you can rush four and you're playing coverage with seven. That makes it really hard on an offense. But, the thing that can kind of combat that, and you see it all the time, is a lot of people in today's football are leaving tight ends off the edges. They're chipping with the backs, and that makes it really hard on a four-man rush when ultimately you basically have seven pass blockers at times, and they're still getting out on checkdowns. So I think every situation is a little bit different in regards to if they get one-on-ones, yeah, you want them to win their one-on-ones. And nobody's going to be perfect. I've yet to see a perfect pass rusher in terms of winning 100% of their one-on-ones, but ultimately when you get those opportunities, we'd like our guys to be able to take advantage of them.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks. Have a good one.